Yes, for the next paper we have Ahmed Rashed, Mummies and Museology, Civilization Rights Perspective. So, welcome. For you, Mark, I'm sorry for all the mummies, but I hope you enjoyed.
Okay, I know that I have 15 minutes, so I have to run. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to talk now with something which is very difficult after the great presentations which we had before from Sydney University and from Chicago University and from the museum, the Egyptian museum, from the different perspectives. Then I'm going to talk about something which somehow very new for everyone, which is going to talk about museums and museology from the perspective of civilization rights, civilizology, and what's called civilization resilience. So what I'm going to talk is maybe need a little bit kind of introduction how it started the word civilization rights. I did my master's and PhD about Luxor City. It was a long story since 1984. Then I found myself in one day in 1999 in Luxor, Las Vegas. So at that time, it came to my mind to say that where is our copyright for having the Luxor Las Vegas when the real Luxor is suffering a lot from a need, from support, from everything. From this dialogue, it started a long story, which is many of the issues and debates came, because when I started with the intellectual property, I found that within the intellectual property, that the human civilization is not even considered by all means, even before the tangible and intangible issues to be raised here or there. I try to find within the UNESCO or within the ICOM or within all the different options a way to find the right of Luxor instead of Luxor, which was very tough. So I keep making it as a scientific dialogue. Then I found a conference at Cordoba, and everybody would think that it is Cordoba, Spain, but it was in Cordoba, Argentina, and it was a debate between replica and originality. So I raised my issue about Luxor Egypt versus Luxor Las Vegas, and that was started by 2004. Within the scientific research, you have these three options. You have a dialogue, you have a discussion, and you have a debate. And you have a hypothesis. And with this, you could have even a way to have a new concept which maybe it does not exist before all over the world. But since that, I try to make it like a copyright of the heritage and the architecture, especially if I have known many of you maybe not visited Luxor Las Vegas, but it's a hotel which is with the shape of the pyramid, but in front they have the Sphinx and they have the obelisk and the name of Luxor. And every room, the room is with a furniture called pharaonic, and they gain a lot. And even some of the gambling games are about mummies, about all the Egyptian artifacts. So it was many of these things, and then they said that you are going to gain whatever you would like from that, and in addition that with the souvenirs, you're going to have a certificate. So that was the story before. Then I keep asking about that from many angles. I have been introduced to many of the conferences. Then one day I was in Sicily, I raised the issue, and the scientific, the Egyptian Academy of Scientific and Technology was represented. So he asked me why you're not having this as a scientific research. I said I keep asking as an individual for many organizations to adapt my thoughts, but they said that you do whatever you do. If you succeed, we are all around you and supporting you, but if you fail, you are going the only one to be blamed. But in the end, it ended with a project. It was a national project. It was the concept of civilization rights came rather than the copyright and intellectual property. Because when we are in discussion, with everybody. I said this is the right of the civilization, and with that it came, and it is already something which is already have been published. But after a while, it came to the end, what I could achieve, to make it something not only for the Egyptian civilization, but for all the civilization. So that's why I moved to the United States. I established the Civilization Right Institute. In addition to that, I already have this kind of, for all the civilization, we have the civilization right, the Universal Declaration of Civilization Rights. So from that perspective, the one is one of the issues of different issues which has been raised under this title, and the Egyptian civilization is one civilization with all civilizations, even not only the past, for today and for future, for the indigenous communities, for all ancient civilization, all of this. So I will pick first, when I said this brief, to acknowledge many of those who supported in the journey, and I will go on to mention two of many, with Professor Pahlawi. He's the head of the Arab Archaeological Association, with which again I have been awarded from the archaeologist, one of the main recognitions award. And for Dr. Sahar Shaheen, she's one of the one who we have many dialogues about civilization right and to what extent with mummification and mummies, and she was one of those experts. In addition, I choose to have many of the photos which has been generated through the AI, because respecting to our mummies, I think that it is not able to be even display a picture, not only the word, the name of mummy or the whatever, it is more than that. And this is one of the things which I'm going to have somehow a kind of trying to make it for everyone. So the issue of the tomb, and if we are going to return back to the Egyptian case, it is within the 16th, 17th, 19th, 20th, until now, even legal or illegal, it is something which is happening every day, that you find that there are many of those buried people have been, interrupted by one way or another under the scientific or under the those who would like to replicate this or whatever. And there is a lot of ethical gaps between what should be and what should not happen in the past and now and for the future. So the oversights, there is no universal framework protecting human and civilization rights over remains like mummies. So it is even for the human remains, and not even for the human remains. So as you know, there is a lot of cats or a lot of animals which already have been mummified. So it's more than that in many of this kind of different issues. So as I mentioned quickly, there is civilization rights, which I mentioned very briefly, how it started, but it has already 17 articles. And then for making civilization rights something which for the scientific and for the sciences, more and more excitement, I added more problematic for myself by the word civilizology. So civilizology is a new science and a scientific approach. So archaeology, anthropology is the outcome of studying something, but civilizology is the input and the process of many of the sciences which are all working together to create a civilization. So civilizology is a new approach which we are trying now even to have many of the debates and discussion and dialogue, and we are going to have a conference on that one. And by the end of 2026, we are invited people to support us, organizations, and we choose the Great Pyramid to be our model, because the Great Pyramid is not for the Egyptian civilization, it's for all civilization. It's the only one remained from the Seven Wonders, and no one and never everyone think about what is the different type of sciences, specific sciences and interdiscipline shared together to build the Great Pyramid. So this is more things which I'm going to have more explanations next Saturday, the day after tomorrow, as a keynote speaker in one of the ICOM. So I'm going to get this in a moment. But all of this, in the end, we need to have this kind of civilization resilience, and for the civilization resilience, we think that the 15 articles which is going to be within the civilization right article in the Universal Civilization Right is going to cover many of the issues which is going to change our approach, how we tackle the word mummy and mummification and the display and all these things. There are 15, the time is not going to be enough, but I'm going to try some of those 15, and then everyone could be invited to visit our website and it is open discussion within the website. You are going to have the presentation, and it is going to be something which we try to make it with every article of the articles which we have, to have making the challenge, and from this challenge we have a kind of framework. It is a suggested framework, as you can see, even this picture, it is created by the AI to show us that what is the story, what it's about, but it's the thing which we would like to talk about it, which is very important in our paper. It's about the original environment for all the artifacts, not only for the mummies, for everything. If there will be an original site, that means if it's going to be even gifted or discovered or and removed from the original site, it is kind, from our point of view, a crime. And this crime means, even if it's happened during 4,000 or 5,000 decades or years or centuries, or even it's going to happen today or for the future, and we have with the future now, the AI, which could replace many of those, what happened under the scientific discovery or the scientific, exercises. But we have to think about it in a different way, by one way or another. So the challenge mummies were taken from the Valley of Kings or whatever, in every place in Egypt, and even it's not going to be one of those, royal mummies, but still we have to respect. And this again will come to the word civilization. If I am a man and I prepare myself to the second life, so I decide and I have a decision and I have a human right that I would like to be buried in a way when my time to come, and I spent all my life to be prepared, and with and I use the medicine and medical point of view, different type for the mummification. Then I use all my authorities and my support of a technicality to have a kind of coffin, and then to have this kind of tomb, and the architecture, approach to have buried in a valley or a mastaba or whatever. So I have a right. I was planning. I have a decision. So if I've been taken to be even the Grand Museum, or even in the Metropolitan Museum, or any of the museums, this is something which I think against the will of those who already have been buried for many years. So I think that they have the right, one a day, to be returned to their originals. Even it's difficult, but it was possible for one of them to have an imagination that they are going to be moved from that place to be around the world. So if it's going to be a possibility for all of us to think that not only for the mummies, but for all the artifacts, that they have originality, and we have with the civilization rights, we have to declare that there is a right. So this is the first step. But to return, this may be taking centuries. I am not saying that it's going to be Big Bang for tomorrow, but we have to put it like that. So that's why with each article of this, we put some of the article and what is the challenge and what is the framework for that. And many of those even have, kind of discussions with many of, not in Egypt only, but even with colleagues from Peru, from Ecuador, from India, from Mexico, from many other places. And I'm opening the discussion for more and more ideas. I would like to make just a very clear and cut. That's why it came from my heart, rather than reading every single word, because maybe it's going to be more than difficult and it's going to be confused. So that's why I decided to make it like that. But if you would like to return back to every word has been mentioned, it's very important. But this is the most important for those 15, and we already have the 10th of June every year, a celebration of Civilization Right Day. And by coincidence, we celebrated the 5th year when the international community and within the United Nations, they have the 10th of June for the Civilization Dialogue, which we have no idea why God chose that. We have this with that. And that's why we said that we were going to have with Shaheen, the leader of the Civilization Dialogue, a kind of discussion, because the ultimate goal for the Civilization Dialogue is to be having the civilization right, because we have the human rights, the humanity rights, the woman rights, the intellectual property rights. All these rights is seeking for the ultimate goal that the international community will be civilized. But not one of them as alone is going to achieve it, even the climate change 17 issues, but civilization right accommodate all. So what we did after this kind of the 15 articles, we have this kind of a rating system, which is going to be a rating system for museums and from everyone who's having the research. It is divided into two types of rating system. Civilization right rating system, to what extent it has been followed, and a civilization rating system. So for the civilization rating system, when we have a tomb, it is not going to be a law that this tomb has been discovered from this and that. No, it's going to be the civilization of this tomb. How it became to be a tomb. What is the process? What is the person? What is all of these things? I know sometimes we are going to have this kind of rating system for each museums in the future, which we are thinking that we are opening the door for a new approaches, as they said, for the future of museums. And we have a new generations with youth with this kind of IT and AI, so we could have many angles which was not really existed before. And with that, we are sure that we are going to have grades with this rating system for a future, and it's very open for the academics, for exchange, and for many. That's why it is under Civilization Right Institute. So this is an institute. If it's new, it is new established. We have many respected colleagues now, but we are still ongoing. And when I started that one, it was in the same. It was in Virginia, and it is the same non-profit organization as the National Geographic started in 1888. I am sure it is going to be beyond my life. And that's why we have, even in the Article 15, we said that we are going to approach the national and international organization, but we try to make it grassroots from generation to generation. That's why we said that it is a kind of an opportunity, and we think that the Mummies and many others will have a better future with a better understanding, with a better way of how we could have a different. I'm sure that maybe I am